Next, let's go over some club policies. Let's start with a one-on-one policy. As stated in other trainings, staff should never be left one-on-one with a club member. If you are driving a van and you're only picking up one club member, you simply call another staff member and leave the phone on speaker. If you need to pull a member aside for a one-on-one chat or discipline, make sure that you are within a clear line of sight of other staff and club members. Just as important as the one-on-one ratio is our guide to appropriate touch. This resource is available for you in the knowledge base on Connect team. It's labeled the Safe Touch Narrative. This guide was created to help empower both youth and staff in knowing what kinds of touch are prohibited at club. All of our rules about appropriate touch can be traced back to this narrative. Please refer back to this narrative often and make sure it's posted at your club site. This will help keep expectations clear for both club members and site staff. Now that we have a better understanding of appropriate physical interaction, let's discuss appropriate verbal interaction. In order to build relationships and keep club positive, first and foremost, it's important to start memorizing and using names as soon as possible. Keep your interactions with club members positive, encouraging, and appropriate. We also want to maintain boundaries and manners that uphold our values. This means that we don't yell at, threaten, or intimidate our club members in order to get compliant behavior. What happens if a club member runs away? If a club member leaves, one staff should follow them at a safe distance. Our goal is not to physically stop them, but to maintain supervision. Say something along the lines of, I can see you're upset. I just need to make sure you're safe. Allow the club member time to cool down and then invite them to rejoin the group. If the member leaves the site, call the office first, and then you call the parents. Finally, the police do need to be notified. Missing children need to be recovered quickly in order to decrease their risk of significant harm. Next, let's discuss what to do if there's a club member who needs medical attention. Every site should have a first aid kit. Be sure to locate yours. If you are not currently CPR or first aid certified, please let the office know so we can add you onto the list for the next training. Apply basic first aid assistance as needed and be sure to communicate with the parents at pickup. Also, write down important information so the site manager can complete an IRF. In the event of a true medical emergency where an ambulance needs to be called, first call 911, then the office, and finally the parent or guardian. Although calling the office before a parent or guardian might feel counterintuitive, the reality is if a parent knows before the office and then they call us for further details, it's important that we have all the relevant information to share with a family member rather than them contacting us for questions and then us having no idea that an ambulance was ever called to a site. The technology that we provide as the Boys and Girls Club is typically limited to Chromebooks or some iPads. Whether members are on their own device or a club device, we have some pretty specific rules regarding technology and screen time. These are meant not only to help foster youth and develop healthy relationships with technology, but they are also meant to protect club member safety and privacy. First and foremost is the screen sharing policy. All club members and staff have the right to ask anyone using a device to see their screen. This means if a staff member pulls out their phone and is messaging on Connect Team, club members have a right to see that they're doing work, but not necessarily read every single message. The same is true for club members who are using electronics. They are not permitted to hide their screens from adults or to quickly exit out of tabs when an adult approaches. Doing so results in an appropriate and correlated consequence, such as losing screen time for the rest of the day. Technology use should always be supervised and should often be kept for specific times and specific purposes. For example, we don't normally allow technology outside of free time, but if a club member has homework that requires a computer, they can use a Chromebook for that. When it does come to free time, club members should be engaging in only club appropriate content and should always be paying for that tech time in beads. This means no first-person shooter games. YouTube videos can't contain graphic images or language and should only depict people who are doing things that are club appropriate. When in doubt, err on the side of caution. If you're not sure about whether or not something's allowed, feel free to say, I don't know about that. So for right now, the answer is no, but I'll ask somebody tomorrow and get back to you. Recently, we've had a lot of club members get into educational content online, less watching YouTube videos about their favorite influencer trying the new cupcake, and more how to make an origami plane or a draw along video. These are for educational purposes and should be allowed at any time for free. Let's go over the club dress code. Can you guess which one of these two people is not dressed appropriately for club? While this may appear more professional, the truth is it's not ideal for club. It's important to wear clothes that allow you to move with club members, be outside in Montana weather, and can easily be cleaned if art supplies or other messy activities spill on them. In addition, clothing that is constantly having to be adjusted is probably best for other settings. One of the many perks of working for the Boys and Girls Club is that we cover gas at a rate of 65 cents per mile. Anytime you have to go from one work location to another, submit a gas form on Connecting and the mileage will show up on your next paycheck. To ensure that you get paid on time and correctly, be sure to update your banking information in Connecting. Also, make sure to clock in for any trainings you complete as well as for any other staff meetings. We also encourage staff to take breaks as needed. Each site manager and YDP is entitled to a 10-minute break when they've worked 4 or more hours. Be sure to communicate your breaks with others at club and don't leave until the club is fully covered. Finally, and somewhat obviously, staff cannot be under the influence of any illicit substances while at club. Additionally, these items cannot be on your person or at the site. Please note that this policy includes nicotine, which means any and all tobacco products must be left at home or safely secured within your vehicle. If you do need to take a break to smoke or vape, we ask that you do it with outside of club member view. Remember, you are a positive role model. And while vaping or smoking is a personal choice that many adults do choose, it's not something that we're going to actively model for our club members.